Right, but before we get to that, let's start with the top political story at this hour. It's official, Rahul Gandhi is all set to become the president of the Congress party. That's not all. He will also be the party's prime ministerial candidate for the 2019 elections. Congress Working Committee, which is the highest decision-making body of the party, announced its internal election timeline. So the election for the top post will be held on December 15th, and the results will be declared on the 19th of December. Now, is Rahul Gandhi expected to be elected unopposed? He will succeed his mother, Sonia Gandhi, who has held the position for the last 17 years. Pallavi Ghosh brings us this report.
Well, the decks have certainly been cleared for Rahul Gandhi to take over as the next Congress president. That election schedule has been announced, but more than the date of polling is the last day of withdrawal, which becomes very important. But in the midst of all this, Sonia Gandhi in her speech came out very strongly against the BJP. In fact, what sources are telling us that Rahul at the CWC said that the focus of the campaign in Gujarat is going to be in asking the BJP's silence over the various corruption charges. Well, what this essentially means is that yes, it's going to be Rahul Gandhi's hand over the Congress party. The 2019 Lok Sabha elections is certainly going to be a Modi versus Rahul battle. So the change of guard, that process has begun. Rahul is going to be, of course, the new Congress president. There's going to be a change of era, but Sonia being Sonia, her importance will remain because the senior coalition allies certainly would want Sonia to be there. It's a very tricky time and Rahul is taking over, immense challenges because Modi is a formidable opponent. Apart from that, Congress is almost zero on ground, very poor performance, and also the fact is that many state elections they've lost out. So important state elections also coming up, and that's going to be the biggest challenge before Rahul Gandhi.
Right, so Pallavi Ghosh there taking stock of the situation as it stands. But Congress leader RPN Singh confirmed to Network 18 that Rahul Gandhi will be the party's prime ministerial candidate in 2019. But Law Minister and BJP leader Ravi Shankar Prasad, he's questioned Rahul Gandhi's elevation. Let's hear out those comments.
Positively. Is there a doubt in that?
Okay, so Rahul is going to be the Prime Minister. That's a very interesting point. But many of your allies like Mamata Banerjee, Sharad Pawar, they do have their reservations over accepting Rahul as their leader. You think he can, in that sense, take over from Sonia, or you do require Sonia Gandhi also as a mentor?
They will be tying up with the Congress party. If he heads the Congress party, are they tying up with Mr. Rahul Gandhi or the Congress party or the Congress stands so? If they ideologically with the Congress party, if crores of workers and leaders of the Congress party think he is the most capable man, what is the problem?
Can an ordinary booth level worker can aspire to become the national president of the Congress party? Or is it that this post is reserved only and only for the family? The family is the only criteria. Let the people decide how he performs.
Right, so comments coming in from both sides of the fence, but it wasn't just Rahul Gandhi's elevation that was discussed at the CWC meeting today. Congress President Sonia Gandhi today slammed the Modi government, accusing it of sabotaging the winter session of Parliament. Remember, the government is considering a truncated 10-day winter session due to the Gujarat elections. Now, Sonia Gandhi said, and I quote, "The Modi government in its arrogance has cast a dark shadow on India's parliamentary democracy by sabotaging the winter session of Parliament on flimsy grounds." Finance Minister Arun Jaitley was quick to retort and defended the government. He pointed out that the Congress too had rescheduled Parliament sessions in the past due to elections.
कांग्रेस ने 10 वर्षों के शासन में इस देश में सबसे भ्रष्ट सरकार दी है और श्री नरेंद्र मोदी ने सबसे ईमानदार सरकार दी है। कोई जबरदस्ती किसी सच्चाई को झूठ कहने से कोई भ्रष्टाचार नहीं बनता। ये एक परंपरा रही है और कई बार हुआ है कि जब चुनाव चल रहे होते हैं तो संसद का सेशन रीशेड्यूल होता है। कांग्रेस ने स्वयं कई बार सेशंस रीशेड्यूल किए।
Right, let's also bring you the other story that we're tracking at this hour. So thousands of farmers have gathered at the Ramlila Maidan in New Delhi today, and what brought them together are some common demands. So one-time complete waiver of farmer loans as well as fair prices for their produce. Rituparna Bhayan was tracking that protest. Here's his report on the key demands as also the organization that has participated.
184 farmer organizations from across India have convened here in Sansad Marg or Parliament Street in Delhi to convene their own parliament. And in fact, they have passed two bills of their own. The first bill is regarding ensuring that a farmer gets fair and remunerative return, which is at least 50% more than his production cost. That bill has been passed by a panel of farmers right here at this rally. The second is regarding ensuring that across India, any debt which a farmer has should be waived off. Of course, this issue has been raised time and again by different political parties, but the farmers maintain that promises made by the political parties to them regarding this issue has not been taken forward, and hence they have convened today's rally. The last and most important issue which this rally is discussing is regarding the rights of women in Indian agriculture. What is being demanded is that there should be right of property, there should be right to seed, and also that, you know, that the contribution of women to Indian agriculture, which this rally believes is at least 70%, that should be recognized. I spoke to some of the prominent leaders who have participated in this meeting, which includes Medha Patkar, as well as V.N. Singh, who is the convener of the All India Kisan Sangharsh Coordination Committee. I spoke to them regarding if there can be a legislative solution to the issues of the farming community, and this is what they had to say. Listen in.
Legislative is in the framework of the Constitution. And Article 47 says that it is a duty of the state to feed the people with very nutritious food. It is necessary that we really get that law done and passed. But at the same time, we have to continue with the battle on the ground.
If the centre can waive the corporate loans, certainly we have a case for the farmers who are feeding the nation, number one. Number two, we have Mr. Modi here, who has himself promised. If the Prime Minister knew it's not a right thing, why did he promise? You can't promise for nothing as such as being a Prime Minister. It's for him to see, not for us. And thirdly, the loans are there only because the government has put in its mind, I don't know what it's done. It has reduced the minimum support prices.
Minimum support price has existed now for 3 or 4 decades, but it's not made available because of political lack of will and bureaucratic lethargy. If there is a law which makes it a right of the farmer to access minimum support price, then of course many more would be able to access it. Today only 6% are able to access it. If it's a legal entitlement, I'm sure it will go up to 60%, which is a major breakthrough, and that's what we are demanding.
Get you the day's trading action now. So bulls maintain the winning momentum on the Lal Street, but without a major rally. So the Nifty and Sensex closed with slim gains, with the Nifty remaining within kissing distance of the 10,300 mark. The mid-cap index, however, outperformed, closing with gains of 155 points. The Bank Nifty closed in on positive territory as well, gaining over 40 points at the close of trade. But let's get you the big story from the stock-specific action that we saw today. So after nearly a 5-decade-long wait, Mumbai is set to get the controversial Trans-Harbour link, which will connect Mumbai to Navi Mumbai soon. So the MMRDA has awarded the contract to Larsen & Toubro. The company's stock jumped over 2% when the market opened, but ended 0.5% in the green. Now, the 8,650 crore rupee project is split into 3 sections or packages and involves the construction of an almost 22-kilometer-long bridge connecting Mumbai's mainland with that of Navi Mumbai. Now, L&T will be constructing one package in partnership with IHI Corporation of Japan, and that stretch involves the construction of a multi-level exchange and a 6-lane marine bridge. Now, package 3, which has been won by L&T on a standalone basis, that involves the construction of a 3.6-kilometer 6-lane land bridge at Navi Mumbai. And S.N. Subramaniam, the MD and CEO of L&T, told CNBC TV18 that the company is happy to construct a major portion of the bridge and expects to complete the project by 2021. Listen in.
This was a very long-awaited infrastructure project which connects the island of Mumbai to the mainland. I think this is transformational as the traffic from Mumbai would see another way out across the sea. It's probably it is probably the largest infrastructure project, single infrastructure project, and probably the longest bridge in this part of the world. And therefore, it's a good feeling to have it. It will give a fillip to cement, it will give a fillip to steel, it will give fillip to a lot of local employment. It's a huge infrastructure project, right, and to be done in 4.5 years, and that's not a very long period of time when considering the size and complexity of the project. The engineering, it will be an engineering marvel at the end of the day. It will be a beautiful project, and therefore I feel it will give fillip to all-round economic development around Bombay and in the mainland, that side too.
Right, so that Mumbai Trans-Harbour link to be a reality soon. But let's also get you another CNBC TV18 exclusive. We learned that Reliance Communications lenders have approved the sale of its New Delhi as well as Chennai properties to Brookfield. Kritika is here with all the details from there. Kritika, what are you picking up from your sources now?
Well, yes, we have been able to confirm that the consortium of lenders that is running a transparent process amongst themselves for sale of various assets of Arcom has finally sold 2 specific assets. Now, these are significantly smaller compared to the bulk of assets and specifically real estate assets that are on the block for Reliance Communications. But the valuation that they have or they seem to have gotten seems to be smarter. For instance, we understand that Reliance Centre in Connaught Place, New Delhi, has been sold for almost 800 crore rupees. So that's the first sale to Brookfield. The second sale to Brookfield is a smallish property in Chennai. We don't know the exact size of this, but it is a small plot which is associated near the Anapur area in Chennai. Now, as far as the timelines are concerned, lenders have just approved. So the due diligence, etc., has been completed. Lenders have given a nod to Brookfield buying it, but the signing has yet to happen. So in a case like this, we have seen many similar stressed assets almost crossing or almost touching the finish line and not going through. So we need to wait and watch out to see when the final binding term sheet is signed. But yes, for now, we understand Brookfield seems to have emerged, and at least the process has kicked off with 2 real estate assets being sold.
Right, Kritika, thanks so much for joining us with all the details from Reporter's Diary. Let's get you a CNBC TV18 exclusive, in fact, exclusive comments coming in. So the first from Congress leader P. Chidambaram, who has had 4 stints as the Finance Minister of India, and second from Y.V. Reddy, who was the Governor of the Reserve Bank of India from 2003 to 2008. So Chidambaram told my colleague Lata Venkatesh that though a ratings upgrade by Moody's after 14 years is a happy occasion, one should not get carried away. While the former RBI Governor Y.V. Reddy, he's slightly more optimistic about the ratings upgrade. He's told Lata that the Moody's upgrade recognizes the potential that the reforms undertaken by the Modi government can have in the long term. Here's a slice of those 2 exclusive conversations.
We can be happy, but there's no reason to be boastful, because the very upgrade document cautions that if our debt burden increases and if the bank NPA problem is not resolved, there's a potential downgrade. Therefore, while I'm happy, I don't wish to join the chorus and boast about it.
No, but the first paragraph of the reasons for the upgrade pointed out to the fact that there is a bankruptcy code, that the GST will eventually, hopefully, bring more people into the formal system and the tax system. You don't see these as positives which will create a higher tax to GDP ratio and a banking system that will work, that will be able to seize bad assets?
Oh, these are, provided they are implemented properly. The GST is a positive. It would have been a very strong positive if it had been implemented properly. But you messed up the GST implementation. Likewise, the IBC is a good law. We all joined in passing it in Parliament. But if you mess it up, as I think they are, it's not a positive. The bank recap is a positive idea, but I still don't know where they're going to find the money and how they're going to do it. And as I pointed out in a column, bank recap has to be accompanied by a whole host of reforms.
Many of the reforms undertaken in the recent past had 2 implications. One, some sort of disruption in the short term, and potential for very good things in the medium term. So I think Moody's in a way is trying to say that though there is some disruption now, it's going to result in good things, and perhaps in a way strengthening the forces in favor of good things type of thing. Okay. But I think it's really a potential which they interpret is likely to materialize.
How would you interpret it? Do you think the steps undertaken, and if you can even tell me which steps,
no, I think basically definitely the GST issue. But more important is the ecosystem like insolvency code. See, the fundamental institutional underpinnings that should strengthen the ecosystem of finance
Are in place?
Are in place. Or at least there is an attempt to do that in a big way, which was pending for a long time. And so therefore I think even GST, it has been in the making for 17 years. So obviously there are a lot of difficulties, otherwise why should it wait for 17 years? So there are difficulties, but they are prepared to face it. So I think in that sense, Moody's rating represents a hope which is it is backed by reasonable expectation.
And you can catch their entire conversation with former Finance Minister P. Chidambaram and former RBI Governor Y.V. Reddy at 6:30 p.m. later this evening. Right, and moving on, so EPFO's apex decision-making body may meet on November 23rd to discuss some crucial proposals relating to the investments and returns to its 4 crore subscribers. Yash Jain joins us now with all the details from there. Yash, so what can we expect from the board meet?
Well, yes, the long overdue EPFO CBT or the Central Board of Trustees meeting has finally been fixed for November 23rd, which in fact will be the first meeting under the new Labour Minister Santosh Gangwar. Coming straight to the agenda, what we are given to understand is that EPFO may approve a proposal to raise its investment to up to 2% of its total investable corpus, which boils down to about 24 to 2500 crore in AA plus rated corporate bonds. Remember, till now EPFO is only allowed to invest in AAA rated bonds. Also, what we are given to understand is that EPFO may discuss and approve a new accounting policy, something which was reported by CNBC TV18 in November 2017. Now, under this new accounting policy, various subsections like giving the subscribers the freedom to choose between debt and equity investment, giving subscribers mark-to-market returns may be discussed, and maybe there could be some decision which should come on that particular front. Also, what we are given to understand is that EPFO may appoint a consultant for the review of its fund managers. Remember, SBIMF and UTIMF are the two fund managers which manage EPFO's equity portfolio, the ETF portfolio. We understand that most of the CBT members are in the favor of continuing with the same fund managers for the coming financial year as well. This is as far as the official agenda is concerned, but what we're given to understand is that certain CBT members would want to raise the point of increasing the pension which EPFO pays to its retired employees to 3,000 rupees per month from the current 1,000 rupees per month. We've also written to the retirement body EPFO on all these various points, but we are yet to receive a reply from them.
Right, Yash, thanks so much for joining us with all the details from there. But away from India and Germany, it's a blow for Angela Merkel's bid to form a government for the 4th consecutive term. Now, one of the parties, FDP, has pulled out from coalition talks, citing a lack of trust between the parties. Now, one of the sticking points is reported to be whether Syrian refugees should be allowed to bring family members to join them in Germany. Now, it's unclear what happens next, but Angela Merkel is due to meet President Frank-Walter Steinmeier, who has the power to call in elections, if indeed that is what the final outcome will be.